Veterans, migrants, who gets preferential treatment? Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about hotel reservations for the Army-Navy football game being canceled to make room for migrants. Now, as many as 70 reservations were affected by this. Now, if you Google this whole situation, you'll see headlines that say that all the families who were affected by this are made whole. But I'm not quite sure that's true because, first of all, if I made a reservation earlier in the year and I got a nice room, a nice location, am I going to get the same room in the same location? Is it going to be a worse room in the far away, inconvenient location? Where am I going exactly? And also, if the room was canceled back in October, maybe I just cancel the whole trip entirely. And how much are tickets to the game? They're probably not very cheap. I might have seats right there on the sideline or something like that. I paid a bunch of money. Did I get a refund on my ticket? Are they refundable? What's going on? I think there's a lot more to this story. And by the way, Army did win the game 17-11. And before I go any further into it, let's get into a clip from, I believe, Iowa Senator Joni Ernst. She'll give her 2 cents on it. Then we're going to get into the news clip from October that details the whole kerfuffle in a little bit more detail. And if you want to see any of these clips in full without my commentary, link as always will be in the description. And without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
And in Massachusetts alone, hotels there have actually canceled bookings of veterans and their families for the Army-Navy football game being played in Foxborough this weekend. And those rooms are actually instead housing, you guessed it, migrants. And Senator, tell us about the letter that you wrote this week to the Biden administration demanding action.
Yes, these border patrol, the border policies that Biden has in place, which allowed all of these migrants to come into the United States, has now created an issue even this weekend at America's game, which is the Army-Navy game. We know that Massachusetts has laws in place, one of which is the the right to shelter law, which provides shelter for those that are refugees or illegal migrants coming into the United States.
Here's my thing, though. Okay, if you have this type of rule, this kind of law, then why does that affect me? Okay, I make a reservation, I pay my money, and then it gets canceled. That's got to be one of the worst things. I've been to a hotel before where I reserve well in advance. I have my card on file. I've been there before. I sign up for their little membership they have. Okay, you got this hotel, they got that thing and that thing. I have all the things. I'm doing everything right. And then when I get to the hotel, they say, okay, your room's being canceled. Huh? My room's being canceled? Oh, we oversold all this and that and the third. We called you. No, you didn't. They did that one time. They said they called me and I showed them my call log right there. It's like, you didn't call me at all. Like, where's your call on my phone? I see nothing. Then they sent me an email a minute before talking about your room got canceled. It's terrible. I'm inconvenienced because you guys have a law. What's that got to do with me? I'm not the migrant. I'm not the illegal alien. I'm not the asylum seeker. I'm getting triggered, so I digress. Let's keep on going.
United States. So what's happening now? All of those families that are attending this game on behalf of their midshipmen or cadet, those Army veterans, those Navy veterans that will be attending, even active duty personnel that are flowing into the Boston, Massachusetts area, they have had their hotel reservations canceled. Why? Yes, because of illegal migrants that are being housed by the city, by the state in these hotels where reservations had previously been made. So instead of watching in the comfort of a hotel room for this Army-Navy game, we're housing illegals. Yeah.
And that's what's happening. Now, let's get into this clip. This is from October. Now, again, if you Google this, you'll see that the families are quote unquote made whole. But then the question is, okay, if there were accommodations made for all the families that still wanted to go to the game and didn't cancel their tickets after this whole thing happened, when did that happen? At the 0 hour, like right in December, right before the game, the night before the game started? Although this was known in October, I'd like to know some details behind that. And if you guys know, y'all let me know in the comments below. But let's keep on rocking here.
Hosting the historic Army-Navy game in just over 2 months, and some veterans traveling to Massachusetts for the big game were shocked to find out that their hotel reservations had suddenly been canceled. A travel agency tells WBZ's Brandon Truitt that the hotels are booked as they try to make room for migrants coming into Massachusetts.
It is a game so big, the president often attends. Fans fly in from all over the country, and most of them are veterans. But dozens report having their hotel reservations pulled out from under them. It's one of the most anticipated games in college football, and this year it's being played right here at Gillette Stadium. The Army-Navy game, scheduled for December 9th. Tickets sold out fast, and demand for hotel rooms soared.
I've never had a hotel take rooms back and give me nothing.
Mark Mansbach is a travel agent out of New Jersey. His agency helps veterans book trips for this game. Mansbach first got word reservations were being canceled from a client. He decided to call the hotel himself. 3 hotels near Gillette, owned by the same management group, were pulling rooms, about 70 reservations in all. Mansbach says Geary Hotel Management told him they were planning to give those rooms to migrants being housed under the state's right to shelter law.
Some people just decided not to go. Some have found space in Boston, and some I've been able to put into other hotels that I had space left in.
I'm very distressed to learn that.
That's what I was saying about the whole thing about families that have been made whole. They were able to find spaces for them. Well, if you said, you know what, we're not even going to go, we're going to cancel the trip, then how are you included in those who were made whole? It doesn't make any sense. I'm willing to bet that a lot of families, a lot of veterans, active duty, etc., simply did not go because of this whole kerfuffle.
Any veteran may have been moved from a hotel who had booked a hotel for that game. As I understand it, those were decisions made by area hotels.
Governor Maura Healey addressing this Wednesday. Her Office of Veteran Affairs tells me they're working to determine how many veterans are still searching for hotel rooms. Geary's Hotel Management did not return WBZ's request for comment. Mansbach's frustrations lie with a lack of communication and commitment.
They sent out cancellations and walked away.
And the governor says that hotel group is working to get those impacted veterans rooms in their other properties. Mansbach says that some of his clients who are booking new rooms are having to pay higher rates.
Of course, that's something else I was worried about. Okay, so I booked a room well into advance. And you know, the thing about when you go to these events, and of course, I'll link to that video and also articles and everything about that in the box. But when you book hotels well into advance, remember, they said the game was just this past Saturday, December the 9th, 2023. And they were booking probably well before October. Probably as soon as they could book rooms, they were booking them. As soon as a date was announced, whenever they knew it, they were on it. Now, when you book in advance, it's going to be cheaper. The later you get into the process, the closer you get to the actual day of the event, is going to be higher. So you had a room booked for 3 months. It gets canceled. Now you got to rebook. You're going to pay higher prices, or it's going to be a worse hotel. And then if you get put into a new place, is it going to be the equivalent of where you were before? Am I going to get any kind of credit, any kind of compensation? It's a whole big mess. I read one article. It said that it's a cluster. The whole thing was a cluster because of the so-called right to shelter law. And is that a demand? Must the hotels find these migrants places? Is it a thing where the the state government forces the hotels to house these people? How does it really work? I'd like to know how the right to work law works, because the governor, the Democrat, was saying, well, they made a decision to house these people. Well, was it a decision, or were they legally obligated to do so? And if they were obligated, or if it was a decision, or whatever the case may be, here's something else. That could have been handled much better, because if you're going to cancel the room, why not just give me a call and say, hey, okay, we have a problem. We got to cancel a room. We could put you in this particular spot over there. Okay. We got to go to the news. We got to go to state senators, and we got to go to the governor and get our voices heard. Then at that point, okay, we're going to make you whole some months later, weeks later, or whatever the case may be. Now, as I close, I want to say this. Here's yet another example of these people in power, a lot of these left-leaning or leftist, full-on leftist people in power that allow a city and state to be overrun by these migrants. Now, I understand if you come in here legally, I got no problem if you following the law. But my issue is with our government leaving the border wide open, letting everybody come in, and then making us, just regular everyday people, deal with the consequences of those actions. That's my issue, 100%. And if we don't get a hold on it, it's going to get much worse as days and weeks progress, unfortunately. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your take on what's going on here? Do you think that this is a state government issue? They have the right to shelter law. Is it about the hotels? Is it a combination of both? Is it the people that vote for these people in office that put laws like that on the books? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. At a certain point, is everybody involved, okay, who makes certain laws in the state? A right to shelter law means that my reservation for a hotel gets canceled. I made it 3-4 months in advance, and then I get an email, not even the phone call, not even the courtesy call that says, okay, it's been canceled. And that's pretty much it. You can't get me another room. You can't get me on the phone. You can't get me any kind of, this is crazy. This is totally nuts. And again, one more time, in case anybody forgot it, if you Google this, there'll be articles that say everyone was made whole, but I'm not quite sure that's true. If I cancel or if I got to pay more money because I'm not getting the free room, if I got to pay more money, I have a worse place, I cancel my trip, et cetera, so on and so forth, I didn't really get made whole now, did I? But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.